For people who don't know you, tell us a bit about yourself. Like, make a little introduction.
So my name's Luke. I'm a magician from the UK. I create magic. I don't perform that much, but I end up creating and consulting for big kind of TikTok and social media magicians like Dan Rhodes, Neil Henry, Joel. I've worked with a few companies as well. Magicians can go and check out that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just love creating magic.
Okay. You have recently released a social media magic membership called OSEY Fans. So how do you got the idea of creating it? Like, where did it came from?
So I worked with a magician until November, and I'm kind of the person I'll take one big project and then have a couple of side things. And I then stopped working with this person, and I effectively other people, but I thought, okay, I can just release one effect every week, and then that will keep me covered. And then I realized I don't want to have in a year's time, I don't want to have 52 effects out. So why don't I do it as a membership? And then I won't have a bunch of things, because otherwise, Penguin Magic would just be filled with my stuff, and I don't want to have like 50 things on a website. So I decided, okay, membership is a way forward, because Rory Adams, he told me to do it ages ago. He said you should do a membership, and my friend Ollie Mealing had one at the time, and so I talked to him, and he talks me through how to build it, how to grow it, what platforms to use, and we just switched over to a bit of a better platform, but it's going quite well, and it is quite fun. But yeah, so Rory kind of came up with he said you should do a membership basically, and I decided to do it.
What advice would you give to young magicians in social media?
I'd say keep things looking organic, right? The way the world is heading, everyone seems to prefer a connection, right? So if a video is filmed on your phone in your room, or on your phone with your friends getting coffee, people want to see something look organic. If it looks too overproduced, you can't connect to it. And then the other thing I'd say is consistency is key, and just post stuff that you're enjoying, because if you're not in love with what you're posting, you're going to get bored of it, right? So let's say if I made cooking videos, I'd get bored of that because I don't like cooking that much, right? But if I make magic videos, it would take me a lot longer to get bored of it because I really like magic. And choose a style of magic that suits you as well.
You have created a lot of tricks, like a lot in the membership, a lot of the membership. So what do you get the creativity from? Like, what do you do for getting creativity and new ideas?
I've got a lot of different ways I create. So I might I used to actually have a shower, and I wouldn't, as like a creative experiment, I wouldn't get out of the shower until I came up with a magic idea. And as soon as I came up with a magic idea, I'd get out of the shower. So every morning I'd wake up, make myself a coffee. Well, no, before I even made coffee, first thing I do, brush my teeth, go into the shower, and I wouldn't get out of the shower until I came up with a trick. So sometimes I was in there for 5 minutes, sometimes I was in there for half an hour. And I've stopped doing this now because people seem to get annoyed when you're in the shower for half an hour because you waste a lot of water. But that was that's what I was doing for quite a long time with OSEY Fans. And now that the world, especially in the UK, is opening up, everyone's getting their vaccines. So what I've been doing recently is I've been going out and taking photos of any interesting locations. So if I go to a cafe, for me, that's interesting. So I'll take a photo of behind the bar, and I think, right, what's the most impossible thing you could do with this item and this item and this? Or I started working at a casino, at a bar in a casino recently, helping them on social media stuff. And one thing which I've been doing around there is taking photos of all the different roulette tables, thinking like, oh, what could you do with the dice, or the craps table with the dice. They have loads of ATMs there, so I take photos of all the ATMs and think like, oh, imagine if you, for example, imagine if you walked up to an ATM and you pulled out a banknote out the side of it, right? For me, that'd be really cool. It wouldn't be too difficult either. And then, yeah, I've just been taking loads of photos recently and picking apart the items in it and trying to strain ideas from each item, but just thinking, what's the most impossible thing you could do in a real life situation? It's really fun.
Great. Are you planning to release something new apart from the membership, like an trick, a book, something like that?
Yeah, so I kind of stepped back a bit from releasing magic recently because I say recently, that's not true. I released something quite a few months ago, but I've mainly been focusing on the membership. So I don't think you'll see many downloads come from me now, because anything I could put out as a download, I'm putting out onto the membership. But that being said, there's a few physical products, and there's one over there which I'm not allowed to show you yet, but I have a trick with a sugar cube that will be, you'll see a lot of it at the end of April for sure. And I think it comes out at some point next month, but that's a really fun little physical trick which people can have a look at. I do want to do a book at some point, maybe when I'm older, and I just need to take on, I've got too many projects right now. Once they're done, maybe I'll do a book, but I'm kind of enjoying a membership at the minute, and that's what I'm trying to push the most out of everything, put most of my energy into that.
Also, how do you learn magic at first? Now you create most of your tricks, but before that, how do you learn magic?
When I started, I looked on YouTube and I watched TV as well, and I would like rewind the TV show over and over until I worked out how to do a trick. So I've always kind of had that creative puzzle solving thing in my head of watching a magician on TV, trying to work out how they do it and backtrack it. So most of my knowledge actually came from there. I didn't really read any books. I've never been good at reading, especially not magic books. I just I don't have the attention span for it. And it's the same with DVDs. I don't watch many magic. I never watched many magic DVDs either. I tried to come up with as much as I could. And then I bought downloads and stuff as well. Like when one of my friends would put out a $10 download, I'd buy it. But mainly, yeah, very early on YouTube, and I'd go to lectures as well. I used to love watching lectures. So I would buy all the at the table lectures on Murphy's Magic, and I'm on Penguin, but obviously they're on Murphy's All the Penguin live lectures as well. I still, one day I want to do a Penguin lecture, and I might email them about that later. Excuse me. I would love to do a Penguin lecture, yeah. But lectures and YouTube mainly.
How do you started with magic? How do you, yep, how do you start?
I used to watch a lot of magic TV. So Penn and Teller Fool Us was the main one when I was getting into it, and Dynamo's old TV show as well. I used to watch that quite a lot, and I've always had an interest in magic. I used to have like a magic kit or whatever, but it was more when a TV show started coming out and magic was seen as this like really cool thing. It wasn't just like a normal magic set. That was when I got really interested.
Great. Let's go to the next question. Is which one is from what you have released? Which effect is the one you like the most?
The next, I know it sounds like typical. The next one I'm going to put out is genuinely my favorite thing I would have ever released. But out of all the stuff that's out right now, the first trick I released was a thing called Portal, where you have a can and you borrow a coin and a can. They sign you can sign the can if they want, but they sign the coin and then tap it in, and it goes through a side. And it's this really nice visual because you hear it and you see it go into the can. And that's probably my favorite right now, just because that was the first magic product I ever put out. And up to that point, I always wanted to put out a magic trick. And that project also, I think that was my best selling product as well. I paid for my old car, I think, with that product. So like my old car was a bit not that great, but I still managed to pay for a car by releasing a project, which I'm quite thankful for. And also it was like, I'd never been approached by a magic company before either. I used to talk to the guys at Illusionist a lot, and they were kind of waiting for me to come up with something they wanted to put out. Eventually I came up with this. I remember going on a call with Geraint and Lloyd Barnes, and I just showed them a bunch of stuff I was working on, and this was the one they were like, yeah, we want to put that out.
And what trick's your favorite trick that you haven't released? Someone else's trick.
Someone else's. On off is great. Nick Lawrence's thing, on off with the finger, because you can do it anywhere. You don't need a gimmick or anything like that. And what else? There's two types of magic I like. I either like stuff which is you can do anywhere, it's situational, or I love like crazy out there gimmicks. So something like Turner Watch, right? I loved that for a while. I don't use it anymore really. I still have one somewhere. And there's a new trick that came out. Well, it's not new. It's been around for a very long time. It's called an Anverdi die, and it just got re-released with Murphy's Magic. It's this tiny little dice. It just tells you, what side's facing up. But I love using it. It's really fun because it's just this little thing, and no one believes it works how it works, right? You don't believe it's this little electronic dice that's telling you how to do this, which just makes it really funny for me, because I can be with my friends, I can be like, no, it genuinely, even if I show them how it works, they don't believe me. They're like, no, it's too small. Because I've shown I showed my best mate how it worked because I found it funny. And I'm not exposing anything. They talk about how to do it in the trailer, and they show you what it does. But it's really fun. I'm quite a fan of stuff like that, like electronic stuff.
Wait, I don't have any more questions right now. Why?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have anything else to tell people who's watching this.
Not really. I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about whatever, really.
Okay, so if you don't have nothing else to say, just thanks for accepting the interview.
No worries, man. No, it's good fun.